أهلا أهل المحفل فالأشعار تراقص بشرى.
Assalamu alaikum, sisters.
Okay,
Okay, well, my name is Whitney, and I took my Shahada last November. Yes, I was in search of something to be accountable to. I was creating my own rules in this life, just kind of winging it. And so there was no flight involved with those wings, though. I was crashing and burning in every way. So I just started learning about Islam, and I gravitated towards how peaceful, even though that's not what society tells us Islam is. They tell us it's, but they're so wrong. They're wrong. I've been welcomed into the sisterhood, going out into, just out in public. I've never felt like such a family. I see people, it took me a couple of months for people to say salam. I'm like, oh, that took a while, but I've met the most beautiful people. It was the best decision I've ever made. I was fortunate enough to be around Muslims because I went to the military. So I had a chance to go to Iraq. I'm sorry. It was a distant, like just kind of looking, and then they were telling us like, hey, don't be near that, don't go around it. They were so wrong. I wish I would have partaken more in the culture and learned, but I'm here now. So I just want to thank you for welcoming me. Thank you for having me.
My name is Allison. I also go by Sister Noor. Either one is fine. I'm a little bit nervous, but so for me, I've been Muslim about 4 to 5 years now. I reverted January. I don't remember the exact date. For me, it was a little bit different. I watched Yusuf Estes video, and he told me that Jesus was not the Son of God, and it just clicked with me, and from there, I just reverted. I didn't do a lot of research like a lot of people do. So for me, my one piece of advice to all the new Muslims is make sure that you are taking the time, set aside 20, 30 minutes a day, collect some materials, and learn the religion. Something I wish I really would have done sooner. So I was reading Quran and these things, but also including the hadith and living your life according to the hadith. The one thing that I really just kind of hit me lately is that, and I might cry, Prophet Muhammad gave us like a cheat sheet to be successful. So to not use that is just kind of not right, So if you really use the hadith and you learn it and you practice it, you will be way better off than what you think you will. And Shaitan will come to you and tell you you're doing something wrong. Don't do this. It's hard. It is hard, right? But we know as Muslims that this life is not easy. So you get to determine, or you get to try to determine, because Allah determines everything, right? But we get to try our best to be successful in this life. And the one way you can do that is by following the Prophet. So that would be my one piece of advice to you guys. There's a ton of books, some resources you can use. I'm actually studying the different madhabs right now just to get a more overall understanding. So I would recommend they have, like Amazon Kindle. You can read it on your phone. You don't even have to have that. You can read from there. Another thing I would suggest doing, if you are not doing so already, is the morning and evening istighfar. That is extremely important. It protects you from shaitan, especially reading ayat kursi and all of these things. So I would recommend getting that. Take 2 dua that you want to say in the morning, and then just gradually progress from there. But my one advice, read about the Prophet, get an understanding of hadith, and implement it in your life. That's what makes us different from other people, is that we read it, we listen, and we obey. So that would be my piece of advice. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you all for being here, and may He allow you to be strong in the religion.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. May Allah Ta'ala's peace, blessings, and mercy be abundantly be on all of you. I'm here today to speak about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Lord who put me in the straight path. And I'm blessed to be among all of you who are Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's people. My journey to Islam started 20 years ago. I'm born and brought up in India. I had a very rough childhood, as some of the sisters were mentioning. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has a unique plan, customized plan for every single person to direct a person into his deen. If Allah Ta'ala chooses that person, that is the biggest blessing in this world and in the akhirah. I'm saying every single word of mine with a personal experience in my 20 years. I was asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala last night, Allah, what would I tell them about you that would show him your sweetness, show them your sweetness? So 20 years ago in India, I had a rough childhood since 5th grade. And I struggled. We were born into a very Orthodox family, Orthodox Hindu family. And my father, he was a very big devotee of some of the Hindu gods, and we donate to temples, big deal, all that stuff. We grew up in that. Me and my brother, we always used to go to the temple, do pujas, and ask, confused, don't know what we were doing, but at least we thought that would help us. And we did it. We struggled through our childhood. Finally, I came to my finale stage where I wanted to get to a certain stage. I'm going to share this only for the glory of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I was a girl child in India. I did not have much of social, emotional, or financial support. And I wanted to become a doctor at that time. And at that time, the situation, I didn't have any money to do that. And there were only few medical schools there. To get into those medical schools, it's highly competitive. And long story short, I went through a lot of struggles, and people used to say, will you go there? Yes, I want to go there. But finally, I got to where I wanted to be. And at that stage in my life, after I achieved what I wanted to achieve in my life, the question started in my life. Why do I not have peace and reassurance in my mind? What is missing in my life? I finally wanted to get to one thing, and I got to that. What is missing? So then there was a friend, and he said, like, oh, there are like a bunch of people who go and pray in one place on every Thursday. Do you want to go and check it out and see what it is? I'm like, okay, fine. And then I went there. There were like, it's a Christian family, a bunch of young people, and they were sitting and praying there on Thursday by themselves. And there were only very few Christian people. The rest of the people were from the inner societies of the deep Hinduism Orthodox families. And so I used to go there on Thursday, sit there, listen, and I used to go ask God in my own words. And so at that time, there were many people from many different backgrounds. I can't even imagine how Allah Ta'ala brought all those people in a way, amazing ways. All the people from different backgrounds were gathered together. And the person who used to help us is a Muslim lady. She used to sit quietly there, and she used to listen to us. And if you have any questions, she used to tell us about God. So we prayed. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed so much mercy on us at that time. We were literally walked like little babies. Whatever we asked, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will use to bless us and make things easy amongst the calamities at that time. So long story short, we got married. Everybody got married, scattered, went to different parts of the world. And then I came to United States. And at that time, one of my friends called, and she said from India, sister, I heard this is the path, and this is the only and one and only path. I said, okay. And then I said my Shahada. And I was alone by myself at that time. And I didn't know Muslims at that time. Once in a while, if I see a Muslim person, I used to start probing and asking. And maybe I confused them. They were like, really? Is she serious? What is she talking about? Maybe I confused them. But the path went on like that. And after that, I met one Muslim person, but still like she used to tell some traditional cultural things. And then I met a person, a Muslim friend who was my neighbor. And then I started talking to her. They really believed. And I used to, at that time, I did not have any connection with the rest of the Muslim world. I used to speak to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I used to ask Allah ta'ala. At that time, internet is also not as much as now. So I tried to, what is namaz? What is this word? What is that word? I tried to learn a little bit. I knew very little. But I always used to have the connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at whatever strength it is. And I used to talk to only Allah ta'ala. Allah ta'ala, I don't know about this. What am I doing? Am I doing this wrong? Is this good for you? And so it was like that. And I learned a little bit namaz, how to do it. But at that time, I was still not doing it like 5 times, or we didn't even know it's like mandatory that we should do it. And then life, the big things started striking, the calamities. They literally twisted and turned me. And even at that time, so at that time, I have 2 special needs children. And at that time, I never thought I would part with my older son, but at that time, the situation came. And I used to travel like 1,000 miles every single weekend with my little one to meet my older son in New York because of his programs and needs and everything. So at that time, I used to pray. I remember in the valleys, there is not even a single car in those valleys. I used to drive to West Virginia. I used to cry and I used to pray in those valleys. Only trees, me, mountains, and the valleys. That's it. And Allah Ta'ala. So I used to pray. And then I was one day walking in a mall. And then I saw from Dawood alayhi salam the word that says, "Be still and know that I'm God." I'm like, what is this? What is this word? So I started doing that. And then I found out it's from Dawood alayhi salam. And then I held only to that word. I didn't know anything more at that time. No Quran, nothing. I held only to that word. And every time the calamity strikes, I used to tell to Allah Ta'ala. I used to remind myself of that word. I used to like put it, inscribe it everywhere to remind me all the time that Allah Ta'ala is with me. So that word taught me that Allah Ta'ala is more than what your struggles are. And then 6 months went by. And then the next 6 months, what happened was Allah Ta'ala taught me through that word that I am God. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala taught me that I am God. So that shattered a lot of things. And that taught me many different things. After that, many calamities struck one after another without a gap at that time. And with each calamity, Allah Ta'ala taught me how to submit to Himself and how to wait for Allah Ta'ala. How Allah Ta'ala taught me patience through these. And next time when a calamity comes, you are doing it all over again. So this became like an exercise, my spiritual exercise. And Allah Ta'ala drew me so close to Him at that time. So at that time, I was in New York. I went to my kids' class and I saw a parent there. I went to her and I asked, "How do you cover your head? Can you cover with a cap?" So then she looked at me and she smiled. And then she became a friend and she used to talk to me all the time. And then she was the one who like believed in what I was experiencing. And she used to ask me, "What did Allah Ta'ala teach you this week? Tell me. So I used to share my experiences with her. And one time I was telling to her about thoughts. Like thoughts will come to you like clouds. You don't have to take them. They just pass by. Don't worry or fear about them. So then she thought, "Did you know this is in Quran? This is the waswasa of the shaitan. This is how it is." So then Allah Ta'ala kept teaching me like that. And then one day she approached one of her teachers, Sister Shanaz, and she said, I didn't ask her. I didn't even know that all these things exist, like tafsir, knowledge, and all of this. I used to like read the Quranic verses in English, and I used to ponder on them. I used to ask Allah Ta'ala, teach me, what is this? What does this mean? Sometimes I used to even wait for 1 month to get the message from Allah Ta'ala. So then she went and asked the teacher, And the teacher said, I'm so busy with 500 students. How would I teach this sister in English? So then that's it. And then that same week, another sister with the same name approached this sister to teach somebody else Qaeda in English. She's like, oh, maybe this is Allah Ta'ala's will. Let me start. And then that is how Sisters in Islam started. Me and there was another sister, Rafiuka, who started as students, and Sister Shahnaz used to teach us. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed this group, and this grew into an amazing big group with like many, many branches, mentors, teachers, and all these blessed people in front of us with all this iman as examples came forward. And Allah Ta'ala opened me to a different chapter. I keep praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give hidayah to my entire family who are Hindus and don't know much about Islam, because we are in the inner part of the society, so we don't have too much contact with Muslim people. And we say, like, whenever Muslims, they say like all these phobias and whatnot were seen. So I keep praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and 5 people in my family took shahada from me. With Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's mercy. And one of my family members who took shahada, she had COVID. She was in the hospital. And for 2 months, she battled it. And in the initial part, in the first month, I called her. She was full with the masks and everything. And I told, listen, we should not pray to everything that we see. We don't pray to the creation. We pray to the creator. And I told her, obviously, in our language. And it is only one God, that is Allah. And she said her shahada. And she did that. I did the translation in my language as well. And then I told her, keep saying the word Allah in your mouth, because they don't know how to say the other words. And then 2 weeks later, when I called her, somehow in my mind, this was going through, and I made her say the shahada again. And she passed 2 days ago. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless her with forgiveness and peace to her soul and Jannatul Firdaus. That is my story. And I keep continuing to learn through many sisters in Islam. And they dedicate a lot of their time to me. And I'm like, wake up, let's go, let's read Quran, let's read this, let's read that. But I have work, and like all of you have your whatever daily obligations I do. But Allah Ta'ala, if you put one step forward, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala opens many doors. If you show your intention, Allah Ta'ala, I don't know how this is going to happen, but please make this happen. I want to know more about you. I want to learn more about you. What is more pleasing to you? If I say a letter Alif that pleases you, Allah, and Allah Ta'ala opens so many doors for you. And for me, Allah Ta'ala opened, I never imagined that I would read Quran in Arabic, that this thing exists. I never knew that there is a lot of background in this. And whatever Allah Ta'ala taught me, I learned in the beginning. And the thing is, Allah Ta'ala is the best of the teachers. And never ever lose your connection with Allah Ta'ala. Keep talking to Allah Ta'ala. Keep making your dhikr to Allah Ta'ala. Allah Ta'ala is in front of you. Allah Ta'ala can see you. Allah Ta'ala knows what is in your heart. People, your neighbor who is sitting beside you may not know, but Allah Ta'ala is all seeing. And now the journey, it unravels into a sweet journey. A journey, the sweetness keeps increasing and increasing. And the journey that instills resilience in you as you go. And the journey that instills immense satisfaction in you. As you follow and obey Allah Ta'ala, you become more and more satisfied. In the middle of the calamity, you'll be able to smile. There will be streaks of joy in your heart. And there will be satisfaction and peace. This is like you'll be crying with a problem and pain, but at the same time, you'll be smiling in your heart. You may be suffering with pain, but at the same time, your body will be dancing, your heart will be dancing. How? Yes, experience this. This is the amazing journey with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Thank you for listening to me and having me today here. All praise and glory belongs to Allah Ta'ala. Whatever good comes out of this, it is from Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. If I said something wrong, may Allah forgive me.
لا إله إلا الله